going on, y'all? You know, it's another Tuesday with Kris and Kam. And you know, today is Table Talk Tuesday. What's up with y'all today? It's me.
Kam, you already know.
And today we are talking about
Rushing into relationships.
yeah, that. Rushing into relationships. What about rushing into relationships? I don't know, because you know I got a 3-week and out rule. They in 3 weeks and they out about 4 points. So obviously I ain't rushing because I ain't here. So what about the rushing in relationships? What are we talking about as far as that?
We're talking about people being ready to get in a relationship. You know, how short is too short to kind of talk, or as people say, build before you make something
or the
official.
old folks say courting, just because we got some 80 years old folks on there.
We got some mad supporters, so shout out to y'all.
Love y'all.
But yeah, like how short is too short to get to know someone before you make something official? So that's where we'll start.
That's honestly a good question, because I mean it's one of those things where you can't really say it has a time. You can't really, you know, say, oh, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. But, and I guess when somebody told me once you put but, you kind of exclude everything before that. I do think, so let's switch it. So, however, you know, for all my language arts people, however, you know, nevertheless, yeah, for the biblical people, nevertheless, like thus says the Lord.
Oh my gosh, Chris.
No, but I feel that I think ultimately you have to have peace in knowing this person, not just emotionally, but not emotionally and not physically, but you have to have peace in knowing this person for who they are, for what they have to give. I think you have to know their family dynamics. I think it's not really about time, it's more about questions. Have you solved all the questions? Their family dynamics, the relationship with your mom and dad, why your past relationships, your friends you hang around with, your career goals. You know, I think stuff like that has to be answered for you to be like, okay, I think we've been talking or building or courting for a while, because I know more than just the emotional aspect of how you feel. I know who you are. I can see myself being in a relationship that will lead to marriage with you, and I feel like with that being said, that takes time. And you know, I don't think that happens. Everybody's time may be short, but I think, to me, the longer the better. The more comfortable you are, the better. Whether it's 5 months, 6 months, 4 months, I think the more you learn about the person, the better. And then you can make that determination with each other. Are we ready to pursue something bigger? Because I believe in being in relationships on purpose, dating on purpose. I don't see no reason in being with no relationship. But I don't even see no reason in talking to somebody over the phone as far as in flirting if I don't see some potential with you. So I believe in purpose in everything we do. So I guess that's a hard question for me to answer, because I don't think it's the time. I think it's more of a we got some big loud truck. My hood. For my East Point people watching, you know I love y'all. But I think it's more about having peace. It's not beyond emotion. You should never have. I feel like if you have to compromise for that person, you're not ready. If Kam said, Chris, what is she doing? I have to say, and I have to compromise and answer, no, you're not ready. It's not ready yet. How do you feel about it?
I think that I agree. There isn't like a cookie cutter, like it should be 3 months and then you should date, or it should be 6 months and then you should date, or it should be 3 weeks. I think it's different for everybody. But I do agree that you do need to have a level of peace. But I think primarily, one thing that the Lord has been showing me about myself is oftentimes when we get in relationships, we come in expecting things. Like, this person needs to be this. I will have this list of all these criteria that I want this other person to meet. But I think what God has been showing me is, are you ready? Like, are you the person that someone would want to be in a relationship with? Or do you have the characteristics that you're looking for? Are you trustworthy? Do you trust someone else?
Right.
How faithful are you in keeping your word? What's your conviction about putting the other person above yourself? Just all of these things that I think we go into the relationship like, this person need to have this. I'm not gonna date him unless he has this. But how many of those characteristics do you have? So I think one area that shows that you're ready to date is looking at yourself in the mirror. You know, the man in the mirror, like, how am I measuring up?
Right.
Could I be a person that my boyfriend could say, she don't just look good, but she's good to me? You know, as the scripture says about the Proverbs 31 woman, she causes him good and not evil all of her days.
Virtuous.
Like, for your husband to be able to say, my woman never calls me evil.
Right.
Like, you're fine. I never have that woman that I want to go up on the top of my roof because I got this contentious, you know, woman who's always nagging. Like, are you that woman, or are you the woman that your husband is like, or your boyfriend's like, I can't wait to get off work to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so. I
think when it comes to how long you should talk to somebody, I think as long as needed. And if you want my answer, that's my answer. As long as needed to make sure that the longevity will last. You know, that there is longevity. Yeah. Let's say that. I say, at any point you feel uncomfortable, keep talking. If you feel that you're not ready, keep talking. If you feel that certain things aren't dealt with in that person's life, keep talking. Because honestly, if that person is meant to be with you, then they're not going anywhere. For instance, I know who I am as a man, and I can honestly say at 27, I can honestly put myself in a position to say I'm ready to be in a relationship, not just for somebody to occupy my time, because that's what I would say when I was younger. I just want somebody to occupy my time. I mean, that use those words, it was more or less, I want somebody to be in a relationship so I can tell them I love them. No, I know mentally, spiritually, that I'm ready to sow into somebody else's life and to be able to be willing to compromise. Sometimes we don't say, like, I know I'm stubborn in a lot of ways, but I'm willing to be in a relationship. I'm ready now to be in a relationship because I said to myself, I'm willing to compromise for whatever God has for me to make sure that I'm happy, because I know I'm not perfect. I know I'm not always right. So I feel like when you're talking to somebody, there's a lot of things. There's a process of things you have to go through. As far as do they align with what the will God has for your life? I'm a minister, motivational speaker, abstinence coach. I can't just date any woman. I have to date a specific woman. So first, when we talking, I may like you, you may be beautiful, I may be attracted to you, but as we're building, as we're talking, I have to see you line up with the specific things that God already told me not going to change. I know you're going to have to be able to understand, I'm going to be at the church or ministering majority of the time. I'm going to be ministering to both men and women. I'm going to be ministering to kids, and I'm not trying to have sex until marriage. So those are certain specific things that I have to know you're in agreement with, and I have to know it just don't come out your mouth, that it aligns with your actions. And with actions, it takes some time to tell that what comes out of their mouth is the same way. Because somebody can say, oh, which I practice abstinence, and when they see 3 weeks from now, I told you I got that 3 an hour, 3 weeks, oh, he's serious, they out, because they know, oh, I can't walk like that. So that's why I say you have to take the time to make sure they align with what God has for you, and vice versa for you. You have to make sure whatever God has for them, that you're able to walk side by side with them in that journey, and you don't feel like you're compromising their integrity and your integrity and the things that God has for you, because I believe when God sends somebody in your life, that y'all are like a fitted puzzle piece. Y'all just come together and make this beautiful picture. So I think the more time, the more questions you get answered, the better. So that's just my point. To me, people rushing. How do you feel about people rushing? Because somebody might be out there and say, well, how I know if I didn't rush into my relationship? You know, how I know if I rush into my relationship?
I think another thing too that speaks specifically to my life, and I'm sure other people's life, is we're waiting for this perfect thing to like line up, and that may not be the case. Like, all the stars may not line up, and you may not get a plane that comes by and says, date this person, for you to feel security about, now is the time. I think a lot of people wait for that too. Well, you know, I haven't asked enough questions yet, or we haven't gone on enough dates yet. We got to go on 7 dates because that's the number of perfection before I can ask her to be, like, all of this superficial stuff. When it's like, you have peace as a believer, you know, hopefully the person you're dating or building with has peace. So, you know, if y'all got peace about it, then amen. You know, don't wait for the perfection of, you know, the constellation in the sky to line up before you know what I'm saying, say, I gotta make this person my girlfriend or my boyfriend. Right. So, that's my viewpoint on having the timeline and feeling like, you know, I gotta wait for a long time and we gotta date for a year. That's not, let me say this, amen.
Going in.
Yep, because some people not going like this, but amen. That's what table talk is about.
She going in, y'all.
Perspectives. Everybody's not the same. Just give my disclaimer. You know, a lot of people, there's different areas to being ready. Spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially. Okay. And as I said, sometimes all of those things may not line up. Amen. So you may not necessarily need to wait on all 4 of those characteristics.
You learned that?
No. Hold up now. However, if you are a male and your girlfriend has a car and you don't, brother, I'm going to need you to work on it. That's just me. This is my perspective. This is Pamela. Because there are some women, like I said, mainly myself, who've been raised a certain way with a certain standard from our fathers, who, you know, no matter what century we're in now, no matter how culture has changed, we still expect a certain thing from men. And financially, you know, if y'all can't never go nowhere, y'all sitting at the house all day, every day.
Now, I don't know where this came from as far as in being ready, but we just gonna run with it. You know,
see, I don't do this when Kris have his perspective.
You know, I love us. You know what I'm saying? But it's deep. I mean, it's true.
We do this.
It's true. You know what I'm saying? I think what she said is very, very true as far as in you do have to. Everything may not line up the way you want it to line up, and you know we joke back and forth. I gotta be the joke, so I take the blame. I get beat us out of the head, but I'm gonna keep cutting her off. That's what brothers do. I'm gonna do it. But honest, what she said, I do agree with. Everything may not line up, and I think, but one thing I do, I guess in a disagreement with her is, you have to be at peace with what is not lined up at the moment. You know, because everything may not be all aligned, and since we don't know God, and as long as God gives us peace, then that's what I think you should go for. Because our thoughts and our thoughts and our ways are not His thoughts and His ways, but I do think He gives us peace. So we can't continuously try to think like God, but we just have to have peace. If God sent this person in my life and her situation that she wants somebody lined up for them to have a car. You know, of course, for another young lady, you may have a great guy and he may not have gotten to that point yet, because that's one of the things that's not lined up. So you can't reject him for not having that. But like I said, you have to be at peace once again with that situation. So I say everything may not be aligned up financially, physically, mentally, spiritually, but you have to see a plan to get there. And that's what I will say.
Amen.
You know, because I'm a firm believer in, if you don't have a plan at all to get to that point, then you're not ready. Period. I don't care what you have. You know what I'm saying? Because you can have a car, you can have a house, and if you don't have a plan to have a strong relationship with God, that's one of the things that's not lined up for you. That's a problem. If you don't have a car, you don't have a plan to get a job and work hard to get that car, you don't need to be in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? So I'm on the fence with both of them. My thing is, whatever you don't have, you need to have a plan for it. If you don't have a plan at all, you're not ready for any kind of relationship. I'm a firm believer. That's why I say I agree with what she said, and I disagree only because if you don't have it, you better have a plan. And other than that, I agree totally with what she said. Everything that she said, you gotta have a plan. And I think and I think those things align for what if you're ready or not. If those things are not aligned, like what she said and what we've been saying all day, then you're not ready at all. If you don't have a plan, you're not ready.
So you guys, that's all for today's Table Talk Tuesday. We're gonna come at y'all with compatibility one week. I know that's gonna really ruffle some feathers.
Right.
But we're gonna talk about compatibility one week. So y'all stay tuned for that. We appreciate y'all tuning in every week.
Thank you. We love y'all. We're gonna end y'all on this note. Falcons, baby!